Okay, I'm gonna play this game called Castle Frankenstein. Somebody suggested that I, do a live stream of this video game. So I checked it out. It wasn't very easy to find. If you type in Castle Frankenstein into Google, I think something else comes up. I think there might have been some other game called Castle Frankenstein, which is confusing to begin with because I'm thinking like Castle Frankenstein, like because I'm thinking about the book and I'm like, did Frankenstein live in a castle? Like, wasn't that Dracula? Because I never read that book, so I only remember it from pop culture and like probably seeing a movie about Frankenstein. I don't remember the castle thing, but so I started to play this game just to check it out because somebody asked me to live stream it, and I thought, well, why not? Um, and so yeah, I found it. I downloaded it. As you can see, this says it's a remake. I don't know. I'm not going to take the effort and the time. Really, it would be a long time, I think, to find the original. I'm assuming this is a faithful remake. Um, and so yeah, I it's by Terry Davis originally. Um, but so the point is, I started to play this game just to check it out, just so that I could see what it was. And then I'm playing it, and I'm like, did this person suggest this as a joke? Because there's not much going on. Um, and the graphics are really rudimentary, which isn't really bad or anything. But so the graphics are rudimentary. I can't pause this, so I have to just keep. Oh wait, no, I can pause it. Apparently, there's a pause button. I might I might end up using that. But so anyway, yeah, I started playing it. I'm playing it, and I'm sort of like done with the game. Apparently, within about 10 minutes, and that's with me like wandering. That's like with me. Like if you did a speed run, I don't know, like it would take about a minute probably. So this isn't really much of a game, and that's why I didn't want to live stream it because I don't know even. Maybe I'm playing the wrong game. I don't know. But so anyway, this is a remake, and I would presume that it's a faithful remake. Now, this is so. Later, I was reading about this guy, and he was schizophrenic, and it's sort of clear from experiencing this game. And I had read about him before. I had totally forgotten about this person, Terry Davis. He was religious, as happens with certain schizophrenic people, or they think they're in touch with God, and who knows, maybe they are. But so he made an OS. He created an OS from scratch called Temple OS, and he developed that from something like 2003 to 2012, something like that. And I think this game might have been part of it. So that's what I'm talking about when I don't want to download the real game. It's going to be a lot of effort. As I'm looking at this, it's kind of hypnotic to just keep watching that figure like spin around like that. I'm wondering if it just keeps kind of it spins in the same pattern. But anyway, so I'm going to read a little bit, a little passage before I start playing this, because this kind of explains to you. I read an article from Vice, and again, let me just say something. Like if you Google Castle Frankenstein, which might be taken from Wolfenstein, I don't exactly know what he was thinking. But so if you Google Castle Frankenstein and then type in Terry, and you're thinking like it's going to auto complete, No, it doesn't. You type in Castle Frankenstein and Terry, and then other stuff starts coming up. So this is like obscure. Like I thought there would be a Wikipedia article about this game. I only found one link to download the game. So, it's obscure apparently, even though the guy himself is well known for being a genius, I guess. He was smart enough to have graduated with, I think, a master's degree in electrical engineering. Am I wrong? From the University of Arizona, or the State University of Arizona. So I don't know about genius, but he was obviously intelligent enough to make an operating system that I don't think anyone uses, but it's functional. But I'm going to read this passage from an article called God's Lonely Programmer. And this kind of gives you an insight into kind of like the disordered and disjointed thinking that certain people with mental illness suffer from. And he had it sort of taken care of for a while, and he moved back home with his parents because he wasn't really very capable of holding down a job, even though he was able to be a really deep programmer and do all this stuff with programming, you know. He developed schizophrenia relatively late, like when he was 26. So if you know anything about this, you know that people kind of tend to develop that from the age of like 18 to 22 or something along those lines. But he had to move back home, and he was sort of doing okay for a long time. And then he became homeless, and he died from a train running into him when he was 48. And it's not clear if that was a suicide or not. And it really isn't. But how could it not be? But anyway, I guess, maybe, if you're out of it enough, then maybe that's just can happen. But so this, now I'm going to read this from this article that's also like, it's from 2014, but it seems to be like archived or something because the formatting is all wrong. But it is on Vice.com. But anyway, so this is the paragraph here. Terry Davis asks God about war, and then it says in parentheses, servicemen competing, and death, and then in parentheses, awful. About dinosaurs, and then in parentheses, Brontosaurus feet hurt when stepped. And these are quotes, the parts in parentheses. And his favorite video game, and then in parentheses, Donkey Kong. God's favorite car is a quote-unquote Beamer, and his favorite singer is Mick Jagger. Though if he could sing, he'd want to sound like Christopher Hall from Stabbing Westward. His favorite national anthem is Latvia's. His favorite band is, no surprise, the Beatles. But Rush and Triumph are pretty good too. I've never heard of Triumph. Classical music is poison. The best thing Bill Gates could do to save lives, God says, is work on earthquake prediction. The 11th commandment, I don't know, I guess if you're in touch with God, then you'll maybe realize that there weren't just 10. The 11th commandment is, thou shalt not litter, in quotes. Terry Davis tells God everything seems bad. God replies, plant trees. It doesn't seem very connected or logical from an outside perspective, but, maybe to him it all makes sense. Now, I'm going to play this. This game is one of the worst games I've ever played. I don't even want to say it's bad. It's just like, I don't really know, is this a game, you know what it feels like? It feels like, because I've done this. I've done the thing where you ask ChatGPT or Grok to program a video game based on something that you are a prompt, like make a game like Super Mario Brothers. And then it makes something that has a resemblance, but is almost like Super Mario Brothers if you were in a nightmare or something. And it doesn't really make any sense. There's no points. You don't seem to really get anywhere. Except this is more polished than that. And it does have a conclusion, but it's kind of like, like I said, rudimentary. And it feels like, that's the best comparison I can make, is like it kind of feels like something that if you asked ChatGPT to make a third-person shooter, except nobody really has guns. And you could ask it in detail, but it would still come out with this because it's not really ready to program games yet, as I've learned. The best thing I could get with ChatGPT was a Breakout style of game, or Arkanoid, if you remember that. And even then, that was sort of like, this is kind of a game, but not really. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video about this because I thought it was interesting. I thought the guy was interesting. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Like I said, I think I said he died when he was 48, and he was homeless at that time. And I don't think he was on drugs or anything. I don't know. But, I think maybe he had stopped taking his medication because he felt that it made him less creative. But how creative can you be, really, if you're homeless and you don't have access to the computer, which is what his, palette, as it were, would have been. So, okay, now I'm going to start playing this. This game has some of the most frustrating music that I've ever heard. But I'm assuming that he composed it. This happens every time you start up the game. It has a random quote, I think from him. So basic controls, 3D, whatever, shooter, FPS type of thing. So, now, part of a game is like, I don't want to run into these people because I'm going to die, right? I'm going to show you what happens if you run into these randomly running people, which is precisely nothing. If anything, it almost might be more fun if you were trying to chase them or something. And maybe I'm not getting close enough to them to die. Fuck. Yeah. Well, there's a pattern here, so I'm just gonna stand against the wall and... Oh, no, that didn't work. I mean, it's hard to die. It's hard to die if you can die. And this, I don't know if there's any way, I don't think there's any way to change the controls, but if I could, I would make the mouse a little bit more responsive. I think that guy bumped into me, so yeah, no dying. And to me, that's part of a game, is that you're trying to avoid getting shot or getting run into or dying or whatever. So I just shot him, I guess, if you want to call it shooting. So it's like corridors, so you just keep going. There's no, as far as I can tell, there's no, so what is this? Are you gonna die? Is this water? Are you gonna drown? No, you just step over it. Are there points? Not that I can tell. It does have 60 frames per second, though. This is like a little garden or something. Does anything happen here? I'm not really making fun of it, like, I just don't know what there doesn't seem to be anything going on, really. I hope this is recording. In fact, one second, I'm just gonna... Actually, no, because I can't really... If I press escape, something weird happens. It doesn't just go out of the window, so... Nothing here. Wait, let me see. That's where I just was. Kind of sparse decorations around. It's sparsely decorated. So when I first went here, I was like, oh, is this like a coffin? Like, I don't know. But then you kind of you think maybe you're gonna rise over it, like you're gonna step over it, but it's like you're walking through it. And nothing's in there, but it's shaped like a coffin. Does something happen here? Not as far as I can tell. controls are, for what this is, they're pretty smooth, you know? It's working pretty smoothly. And yeah, is it even dead? I don't know. It's writhing around. It's kind of like an automaton or something. Like a robot. Is there a counter? I don't think so. CPU. That number keeps changing, and I'm not smart enough to know what that means. The up, left, down thing is me moving, you know? Okay. Congratulations. Did I do that? All that I did was press the up button. I didn't mean to end it that abruptly. Yeah, that's the game. And I have a feeling that was included in the Temple OS, but I'm not really positive. Oh, I could have gotten out of it the whole time. I could have moved my mouse away from the... But now let me see if it was recording. I think it was, and I think the sound was. But yeah, that was a request from Sam Hill, who's commented a few times. And I would have made it a live stream, but I just sort of thought, this game is like, it's 5 minutes, you know? And there's nothing going on. You can't die. It doesn't even say the end or congratulations. It just says game completed. And this is sort of an indication of the state of his mind because, you know, if you're going to, and it says it right there. I mean, I don't think he's being ironic. Is he? It says unfun games. You know, maybe that's just like, you know, when I was in college, I had a roommate who had a webpage, and one of his comics, he had a comic that he published on his webpage, and he called it I Can't Draw, and it was self-descriptive. I guess, but the point was it was meant to be tongue-in-cheek or whatever, and it was more about what the comic was about than the visuals. I'm going to start this one more time to to just show that it comes up with a different quote every time you start up this game. You can go better than realism. Well, you know, I guess for certain people, maybe that's true. I mean, I'm constantly trying to escape reality. But yeah, that's it. I don't know really what else to say. I don't think anything else happens. Is this supposed to be water? Is it unfinished? It kind of seems that way, you know? And for certain people, it's just going to be a struggle to even complete. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do this. Well, no, I mean, if I learned programming and all that shit, yeah, I could do this. But a lot of people couldn't do this. Yeah, I'm not going to keep playing it just because but this music is, I mean, it's one melody that just keeps repeating. And, you know, it reminds me a little bit of Chocolate Rain because, like, and Chocolate Rain it was a good song in its own way, but it was interesting because it just, like, kept repeating. And the lyrics changed up, but it felt like the song Chocolate Rain never actually really had a chorus. It just kind of repeated the same thing over and over again. It's kind of like the same thing with this game. Now that I'm playing it, I'm just going to finish it again. Fuck it. I don't know who's going to watch this. So that's the catacomb, I guess. I don't know if there's an Easter egg or something. Like, I might be missing something. I don't know if there's controls that I'm missing. I was already here. Oh, that's where I began. So I'll go over here. So this time when I finish it, I'm not gonna not gonna press anything. This is the boss. Yeah, so that's it. I think if I guess it just ends like that anyway. So that's about all. I just wanted to demonstrate the game and make this video because it was requested. It wasn't requested that I make a video. It was requested that I do a live stream. But like I said, when I finished it, not even meaning to, and I thought, this doesn't seem like a good game to do a live stream. But yeah. Anyway, so rest in peace, Terry Davis, and this is a part of his legacy anyway. It's yeah. So that's Castle Frankenstein. Thanks for watching.